Before we begin, I'd like to say that it's my birthday today, and I want to celebrate it by giving you folks 2 birthday true horror stories as a way of giving back to all of you who've stayed with me over these last few months. Seriously, thank you all so much. Now, let's get going. In my 12th birthday was honestly kind of a blur, overshadowed by the chaotic, glitter-infused spectacle that was my 5-year-old sister's princess-themed tea party. The house was just awash in pink and purple, and the air was thick with a sickly sweet scent of cheap cake and artificial fruit punch. I, a preteen on the cusp of adolescence, felt utterly out of place amidst all the tiaras and plastic tea sets. My role, as always, was the reluctant older brother, and I was tasked with keeping an eye on the gaggle of sugar-fueled princesses, while the adults, mingled in the kitchen. I was just kind of attempting to blend into the background, pretending to be totally engrossed in a comic book, when all of a sudden a shadow fell over me. I looked up to see a woman I didn't recognize. She was tall with this strangely fixed smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Her clothes were like a little too neat, a little too formal for a children's birthday party. "Hello, dear. You must be my sister's big brother. I'm your Aunt Sarah. Your mother, my mother, told me so much about you." My mother's name. That detail, delivered with such casual familiarity, just momentarily disarmed me. I did have an Aunt Sarah, but she lived several states away, and I hadn't seen her in years. This woman, though, didn't look or sound like the Aunt Sarah I remembered. There was just this gaze, a kind of predatory glint that made the hairs on my arms stand on end. "I have a special surprise for you. Out in the car, a beautiful dollhouse, just for you, and a slice of the most delicious cake you've ever tasted." She gestured kind of vaguely towards the front door. Through the window, I could see a dark-colored sedan idling at the curb, its engine just this low, throbbing hum. The driver's side door was slightly ajar, and I caught a glimpse of a man's silhouette behind the wheel, his face totally obscured by shadow. A dollhouse? For me? And cake? The offer was absurd, honestly. Just a transparent lure. My internal alarm bells were screaming. This wasn't right. The woman's eyes, though still smiling, held this unnerving intensity, like a hunter sizing up its prey. I mumbled a refusal, trying to sound polite, but, my voice trembled slightly. Her smile faltered, replaced by a flicker of irritation. Her voice hardened, losing its syrupy sweetness. "Don't be silly, dear, it's a special gift. Come along now." She reached out, her hand surprisingly strong, closing around my arm. Her grip was firm, almost painful, and her nails, I noticed, were long and perfectly manicured, like talons, just as a wave of pure terror washed over me, and I was about to struggle. A voice cut through the air. "Hey, Josh. Valerie needs help with her tea party." It was my mother, her voice clear and strong, followed by my real aunt's. The woman's grip instantly loosened. Her head snapped towards the sound, her eyes darting nervously. The fixed smile returned, but it was a desperate, forced grimace now. She muttered something under her breath, a low, guttural sound I couldn't quite decipher, and then, as if a spell had been broken, she released me and melted back into the crowd of parents, disappearing as quickly as she had appeared. I stood there trembling, my arm throbbing where she had held me. My mother, noticing my pale face, rushed over, asking what was wrong. I stammered out the story, the words tumbling out in a rush of fear and confusion. The police were called, of course. They searched the neighborhood, questioned everyone, but the dark sedan and its occupants were long gone. They were never found. To this day, the memory of that woman, her unsettling smile, and the man waiting in the idling car sends a cold dread through me. My sister's Princess Party, a day meant for childish joy, became the day I truly understood that monsters don't always hide under beds. Sometimes they walk among us, wearing smiles that promise sweet treats and deliver only terror. It was my 19th birthday, a milestone that felt less like a celebration and more like an excuse for reckless abandon. My friends and I, fueled by youthful bravado and cheap thrills, decided that a typical party wouldn't suffice. No, we craved something more, something that would etch this birthday into our memories forever. Our chosen adventure, off-roading deep within the state park, under the cloak of a moonless night. The air was thick with the scent of pine and damp earth, a primal perfume that seemed to whisper of forgotten things. Mate, I still remember how wild that night was. We thought we were invincible, just tearing through the woods like nothing could touch us. Honestly, I had no idea what was waiting for us out there. We navigated the winding, overgrown trails in my beat-up Jeep, the headlights cutting through the oppressive darkness like a desperate plea. Laughter and loud music filled the cabin, a flimsy shield against the encroaching wilderness. Eventually we found a clearing, a secluded spot, perfect for our illicit celebration. The engine died, plunging us into an unnerving silence, broken only by the chirping of crickets and the distant hoot of an owl. We killed the headlights, and the world outside vanished, swallowed by an inky blackness so profound it felt suffocating. We passed around drinks, the clinking of bottles sounding unnaturally loud in the sudden quiet, and lit up the small flames dancing like defiant beacons against the void. That's when it started. A sound, faint at first, then growing in intensity. A high-pitched scream, raw and desperate, tore through the night. It wasn't an animal cry. It was unmistakably human, laced with an agony that chilled us to the bone. Our laughter died, replaced by a stunned, terrified silence. We exchanged wide-eyed glances, each of us silently questioning if we had truly heard what we thought we had. The scream faded, leaving an echo of dread in its wake. What was that? Panic began to bubble. We fumbled for the keys, desperate to restart the Jeep, to escape the suffocating darkness and the lingering horror of that sound. The engine sputtered to life, and I slammed the vehicle into reverse, backing out of the clearing with a frantic urgency. As we moved, I glanced in the rear-view mirror, my heart pounding against my ribs. Nothing, just the endless, impenetrable black. But then, a chilling impulse seized me. I had to know, I had to see. Against the protests of my friends, I killed the engine again and stepped out, flashlight in hand. The beam sliced through the darkness, illuminating the gnarled trees and tangled undergrowth. The air was heavy, charged with an unseen presence. I took a few hesitant steps, my breath catching in my throat. That's when I heard it again, closer this time. Footsteps, a soft, rhythmic crunching of leaves, just beyond the reach of my flashlight's beam. They were circling me, or so it felt, a silent predatory dance. My blood ran cold. Every instinct screamed at me to run. Go, go. I scrambled back into the Jeep, fumbling with the door, my hand shaking so violently I could barely turn the key. The engine roared to life, and I flicked on the headlights, the sudden burst of light momentarily blinding. As my eyes adjusted, a figure materialized in the beam. A woman, shrouded in a dark hoodie, stood at the edge of the clearing, her face obscured by shadows. She was still, unnervingly so, simply watching us. Then, as quickly as she appeared, she vanished into the woods, swallowed by the darkness once more. My friends screamed, their voices hoarse with terror. I floored the accelerator, the tires spitting gravel as we lurched forward. But as we sped away, a glance in the rearview mirror revealed a sight that would forever haunt my nightmares. Not one, but several hooded figures stood at the perimeter of the clearing, their forms indistinct against the black. And then, the most terrifying detail, one of them taller than the rest, stood directly behind our vehicle, its head tilted, staring directly into the back window. Its eyes, though unseen, fell like burning coals, piercing through the glass, through the metal, and straight into my soul. We drove, not knowing what we were fleeing, only that we had to escape. My 19th birthday became the night I learned that some horrors don't need monsters. They just need the dark and the unsettling feeling of being watched by something that isn't quite human. Remember, we're always watching.